What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Alright, so before I get into this video, I want to give a shout out to, I'm going to say, Monica. Much respect to the Black Dean Martin for the donation to the channel via the Cash App. The Black Dean Martin. Everybody loves somebody sometime. When the moon hits your eye like a bigger pizza pie, that's amore. I see a question. Yeah, that's a good video idea. Much respect to you for showing love to the channel, man. I really truly appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to William Massey for the $42 donation via the Cash App. Much respect to you for showing love to Too Raw for TV, aka Too Raw for Sports. I salute you. Now, I wanted to talk about James Worthy in a video because I think that he's becoming extraordinarily underrated by today's fans, because today's fans, I think they become like used to these guys that hold on to the basketball, the offense runs around them, they're able to pad their numbers a la LeBron James, and that's what is amazing to them. Like when they see a dude averaging 17, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, or 4 assists, they think role player. But in reality, you got to understand how basketball was played back then. It was still more of a team-orientated type game, the way it was played. And the only guys that were out there averaging a lot of points, really, were dudes on struggling teams, where they kind of had to take the load. You know what I'm saying? Take the brunt of the load. You know, like a guy like World B. Free with the Clippers. Jordan, his first few years with the Bulls, even though he was always going to be a scoring leader. And Jordan helped to influence this thing a little bit too, with the ISO shit. A lot of different players. Purvis Short, who was, I think, never an all-star. One year averaged 28 points for the Warriors, who were horrible at that time period. But James Worthy was the shit. You understand me? James Worthy was that dude. And I just want to give you some examples of how, even though you hear Magic and Kareem, James Worthy was oftentimes arguably their best player during championship runs, during games. He was their most clutch performer. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. First of all, we all know back in 1983, those of us who know NBA history, that the Lakers got mollywopped by the Sixers 4-0 in that finals. But one thing that does get forgotten, because we all remember that, hey, you know, the Celtics beat the Lakers in 2008, but we all remember that the Lakers were without Andrew Bynum and I believe Trevor Ariza in that series, right? Now, some of us think, well, that could have made a difference in the series. Now, I'm not saying that the Lakers would have won, but those of us who know our history know that James Worthy broke his leg in April of '83, which put him out of the playoffs. Now, if James Worthy was playing, could the Lakers have won the championship? I don't know, man. That Sixers team was very, very legendary. But I don't think they would have swept the Lakers if James Worthy was playing. I'll put it to you like that. And who knows, maybe they would have been more competitive with James Worthy. But this is an example of how James Worthy stepped up for the Lakers. And mind you, most of the time, 95% of the time, the plays that they called offensively were not for James Worthy. They were for Kareem. There might have been a situation where they wanted to get Byron Scott the basketball, or Bob McAdoo when he was there, or Jamal Wilkes, or whoever. But Worthy rarely had to have plays called for him to score, which is why I believe that if you put James Worthy on a poor team back then, he would have probably led the NBA in scoring, or he could have at least been amongst the scoring leaders. 1985. All right, I'm just looking at Western Conference Series. 1985, in that Western Conference Series against the Denver Nuggets, the best team Alex English and company played on. James Worthy averaged 22.6 points, 6.8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.8 steals, 1.4 blocks, on 72% shooting from the floor in that series. In the closeout game, he scored 25 points on 10 of 12 shooting and 3 steals. All right. So, the 1987 Western Conference Series, I think that was the Dallas Mavericks and the Lakers, but someone can check me on that one. In that series, James Worthy averaged 30.5 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 2.3 steals, 0.5 blocks. In the closeout game, he had 26 points on 10 of 19 shooting, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 6 of 8 at the line. 1988, you know what? 1987, I don't think that was the Mavericks. I think 88 was the Mavericks. 87, who was in the conference finals in 87 with the Lakers? Let me check it out right quick. Because then I think about it, 87 was the Mavericks, 88 was the Mavericks. 87 was the Supersonics. Okay, my bad. That was the Sonics. 88 was the Dallas Mavericks. And in that series, James Worthy averaged 23.4 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.7 steals, 1 block per game. In the closeout game, he had 28 points, 13 of 20 shooting, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 0 turnovers. And once again, he led the team in scoring in that series. The Western Conference Finals 1989, I believe that was the Phoenix Suns against the Lakers. In that series, he averaged 25 points a game, 8.3 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1 steal per game on 55% shooting. In the 1988 closeout game in that series against the Mavericks, he had... 1988 closeout game against the Pistons. In that game, James Worthy had a triple-double, 36 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, 15 of 22 shooting. In Game 6, he had 28 points and 9 rebounds. And, of course, James Worthy won Finals MVP in 1988. For his career, James Worthy averaged 17.6 points, 5.1 rebounds, and 3 assists per contest. But there's a reason why they call him Big Game James. That's because for every situation, every pressure situation, he had a tendency to raise his level of play. Unlike these fucking frauds, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and a lot of these clowns who, when the pressure's on, they fold. Joel Embiid, James Harden. The list goes on and on. Devin Booker. In the playoffs, James Worthy went to 21.1 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists. In the NBA Finals, 22.2 points per game, 5 rebounds, 3.3 assists. And in the Game 7s that he played in his career, I think it was 4 or 5 of them, 27 points a game, 8.2 rebounds, I think like 3.5 assists on 60% shooting from the floor. And he led the Lakers in playoff scoring in 1987, and he led the Lakers in playoff scoring in 1988. So James Worthy is definitely one of the more unsung players in Lakers history, and he doesn't get his just desserts anymore at this time. And he's just kind of being forgotten as one of the great Lakers, because when he played, they shared the rock. You know, it wasn't no one guy shooting the ball 25, 30 times a game with the Lakers. But like I said, man, I think if you put James Worthy on a bad team back then, and you actually are calling plays for him in the post, yeah, I could see him averaging 27, 28, 29 points a game. But James Worthy was about winning, man. 3 NBA championships. So how in the world is he not on that mural? I have no idea.